Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to our planetary breakdown series. Last time around, we took you on a grand tour of Coruscant, its Skuru district, as well as its federal district. Now today we are going to be taking you through the Jundland Wastes, the Great Pit of Carkoon, Mos Espa, Mos Eisley. You guessed it right, we are taking you all to the infamous planet of Tatooine. Now today we have so much to get through because TT Games has really done a lot with this planet. As you can see, there's just so much to get through. However, we are going to start off with a few brief messages, right, Nick?
Yep, we sure are. First, I just want to talk about our Q&A giveaway. If you've been with us over the last few weeks, you know that we will be doing a Q&A at the end of these breakdown videos, probably the character class videos. But if you don't know, we are doing a giveaway where you will be able to win a Lego Star Wars Lego set. And the way to get involved in this Q&A giveaway is to do three simple things. 1, like this video. 2, subscribe to the channel. And 3, leave a Q&A question down below in the comments. You do those three simple things and you are entered. Now, my other message is actually, I have a question for Bosk. So, Bosk, we're talking all things Tatooine in this video, and that's got me thinking about Boba. So we know that Boba is now the ruler of Mos Espa. He's your old buddy. Where are you at, man? Are you going to show up in the series finale this week? Are we going to get to see you finally?
Your death will bring great profit.
Thanks, Bosk, a man of mystery and of little answers as always. Alright guys, let's just get into this video and talk about Tatooine.
This is Lunar Squadron standing by. We are ready to make the jump to hyperspace. On my mark, Lunar Squadron.
You guys heard that correctly. Today we get to talk all about Tatooine. This is honestly the single planet which we have the most footage from throughout all of the trailers for this game. We have over a minute total of just Tatooine, which, considering how little we have of this game in total, that is just such a large amount. And we also see a diverse range of locations across Tatooine. So there's just so much to get through here. And I think one of the most interesting things that we want to hammer out here is where exactly everything in the map is going to be situated, given the wide landscape of this game. Because like I said at the beginning, we have so many locations: Mos Espa, Mos Eisley, we have the Lars Homestead, we have Anchorhead, we have so much to get through here. And a great guide for us in putting together all of these pieces is from Star Wars Complete Locations. It is a book which has a ton of maps, which are canonized by this point, and they specifically have a Tatooine map. I think this is a great blueprint, which we can imagine the folks over at TT Games worked off of. We are going to start this tour in the Northern Dune Sea by the Great Pit of Carkoon. You guys guessed that right. We're going to start it out by where Jabba's Sail Barge infamously rode out to, right by the Sarlacc pit. Now we have a ton of footage from this segment actually, where we see not just a cutscene of the infamous Luke drinking the blue milk, but we also get to see Chewbacca shooting Boba Fett on the mounted cannons of the Sail Barge. We actually get to see the Sail Barge head on in at least one screenshot. And we actually got an extended look at the Sail Barge, at least on top of the Sail Barge, in the latest gameplay overview trailer, right, Nick?
Yeah, we sure did, and there's actually a couple cool little details on the Sail Barge part. So you can see a little astromech terminal that astromech characters will be able to use. Probably, I'm going to guess, to activate those mounted cannons to jump on to shoot those skiffs. That's my guess for how that will work, but just a couple cool little details here on the top of this, because I think most of us were focused on Luke's combat here and him doing this cool little backflip over the guys. So just like Coruscant, there's a lot of cool details on these planets from these gameplay overview trailers in the background.
And I think one of the coolest things about this shot, and the Chewbacca shot as well, is you can just see the scale and scope of the Dune Sea, how far it reaches out, and the draw distance of this game. You can see the desert for what appears to be miles, and then in the clip with Luke Skywalker, you can really get a feel of how the Sail Barge is located in correlation to Jabba's palace. Now we know that we are at the Great Pit of Carkoon here, which is just outside of where Jabba's palace is. We also get another great look of the lower deck of the Sail Barge, and another great look again at Jabba's palace in this other shot where we have Darth Vader and Darth Ball, where Darth Vader yeets the Gamorrean guard towards Jabba's palace, and so too does Darth Vader yeet us towards Jabba's palace as we make our way up in close to the palace itself. Nick, what are some things that we noticed, some finite details that we noticed just in front of Jabba's palace?
So I think the one thing that I really notice about this shot is from the Sail Barge, you can't see what appears to be, in our opinion, the garage door. But then once you're up in on Jabba's palace, you can clearly see the door. So I'm not quite sure if that palace exists just out in the distance and you'll be able to traverse all the way across, or if there will be a cutscene which will then take you to Jabba's palace just because they're a little different. Other than that, there is one little detail I want to mention in this shot. If you take a look on the right side, you will see what appears to be a mission. Now, what exactly do we think this mission is going to be?
I mean, it can be really one of two things, in my opinion. Historically, LEGO Star Wars games have had two missions having to do with Jabba's palace, being, the Jabba's palace sequences, as well as the Great Pit of Carkoon sequence. So, just like you said, perhaps you walk into this checkpoint and it will take you on that story mission. Maybe getting out to the Great Pit of Carkoon is an on-the-rails experience that you will only get to go to that area when you've triggered this mission, or this can be how you trigger, the Jabba's palace mission. However, given that this is the backside, the garage entrance, and not the front door of Jabba's palace, I kind of think that this isn't triggering the Jabba's palace level. I think this is triggering the Sail Barge level, because as we know, C-3PO, R2-D2, Luke Skywalker, they all march in through the front door because they honestly are savage like that. So I think this is honestly the Sail Barge level. And we don't just see, around the front of Jabba's palace, we also get to see a little bit inside, but not too much, do we, Nick?
We just see the shot with the Rancor. I think personally, the two big things to take from this sequence is first, this opening shot from the gameplay trailer from last year. If you just take a look at the Rancor, it doesn't look too great. And then if you take a look at this shot, look how much better graphically the Rancor looks. That just is such an incredible difference. And then the other small detail, if you take a look down below, we're getting a little family reunion. Looks like Uncle Owen showed up to cheer on his old nephew Luke here against the Rancor, doesn't it?
Yeah, Nick, it certainly does. As we all know, we love Uncle Owen on this channel, don't we? Now I'd like to jump just outside of Jabba's palace, where we can see, the general terrain is a bit rocky. It's not quite, a dune out here, and that is very consistent with the shot just before in the gameplay overview trailer, where we have Luke driving his speeder, what appears to be along that same area. I believe he's out by Jabba's palace in the Northern Dune Sea area, which is where we still are in our tour of Tatooine at this point. Nick, as we ride along the Northern Dune Sea here just outside of Jabba's palace, what are some details that we can see on our ride?
Really, the big thing to notice from this shot is that little city out there in the distance, isn't it?
That's right, Nick, and I think the dead giveaway as to what city that is that spire, that tower. That is clearly the tower that we see in Mos Eisley. Now, we see this tower in a few Mos Eisley shots. We see it in the Tusken Raider shot where he's throwing his gaffy stick at the stormtrooper, and we also see it with Luke, who's standing in front of that very same tower. Now, we're going to go through those in detail in just a second. However, first, I kind of want to entertain a important discussion here, in my opinion, and that is, how do we think we're going to get all the way from the Northern Dune Sea, across the Dune Sea, down to Mos Eisley in this game. As you guys can see on this map, this is a pretty long distance between the two areas. Do we think we're going to be able to get from point A to point B, which seems like a long drive, with a speeder such as Luke Skywalker's speeder here? I mean, what do you think, Nick? I mean, your opinion's just as good as mine, so what do you think on this point?
Personally, I think the way that Mos Eisley looks in this shot, which looks very similar to the way Jabba's palace looked out in the distance, I don't think you're going to be able to traverse that far. You can kind of see like clouds and smoke covering it, and that's kind of a classic thing in video games of stuff out in the distance that you can't exactly traverse to openly. I really think the way travel is going to work on this planet, similarly to Coruscant, is you're going to hop between these locations such as the Sail Barge, Mos Eisley, Mos Espa, Jabba's palace, and you'll be able to explore the immediate era surrounding these, but I don't think you're going to just be able to openly traverse the deserts of Tatooine because they're massive, which, I mean, if they do, then, like, holy shit, this game is going to be incredible. Like, that's just going to be so cool. But yeah, I think you're just going to kind of hop between islands here. I don't think you're going to be able to freely traverse because that is a long distance to travel.
Getting into the streets of Mos Eisley, we get some pretty cool close-ups of the city itself. Starting off with this shot of the Tusken Raider. Nick, what are some details that we picked up from this shot?
You know, I think the big thing that I really noticed in this shot is that breakable wall on the left side of that building. And that's kind of the inspiration we had for what we thought the Breaker Blaster was going to be able to do, was to break walls that look just like that. So I'm thinking that's one of those walls that the Scavenger class will be able to use. And then I think, Andres, you had one thing you wanted to talk about with the tower, particularly in this shot.
That's right, Nick. If you look at the tower here, you can clearly see that there is a zip line running from the top of the tower all the way to, I'm assuming, the ground. It's kind of cut off by this building, but what this kind of indicates to me is that you are going to be able to go all the way to the top of the tallest tower in Mos Eisley, which is pretty cool. It's a testament to the verticality of this game. Not only is this map going to be expansive on its x-axis, it will also be just as expansive on the y-axis. This is going to make the map feel that much bigger, and it's going to give you that many more places to explore. Now, I'm going to kind of pivot to just the other side of the tower here with this shot of Luke Skywalker just outside of what looks like some sort of a docking bay. It's where we see the X-Wing land in the spaceport to the right. Now, what are some things we notice from this shot?
You know, when it comes to this shot, I think the big thing here is obviously just we see that tower, we get to see more of that zip line, and then we just get to really see the environment of Tatooine and of Mos Eisley, all of the AI walking around, how really populated Mos Eisley is going to be, which is just going to make this open world feel so much better.
And not only is this game populated, it also looks like we are going to have plenty of things to do throughout Mos Eisley as well. The first thing this game shows right away is one of the timed mini games that we know are going to be scattered throughout these open worlds. This one here. Nick, what did we kind of learn in the gameplay overview trailer about this here mini game?
I think the cool thing to talk about with this little intro sequence before the Womp Rat sequence is the fact that we see 2 protocol droid terminals, and we know from some other discussions about this game and interviews that these kind of terminals will be time terminals where 2 protocol droid characters will have to kind of time up their input into these terminals to unlock it. It's not particularly clear if that's how you access this minigame, as if you have to activate it, because we see a power line going away from the minigame. So we're not too entirely sure. And then the other thing is we see this little Twilight character that has a Kyber Brick icon above her head, which we're assuming that you will talk to her and she will give you a mission, whether it be this minigame or something else, that will reward you with a Kyber Brick at the end. But that's not the only way to earn a Kyber Brick. We're going to earn a Kyber Brick from this minigame, as if you earn the gold medal, which, if you take a look at the medal, it's the same medal that they reward both Han and Luke in A New Hope, which is a really cool detail that that's the medal that they use, the icon. You're going to get a Kyber Brick for winning a gold medal in this event, which is really cool. Just another cool way to earn Kyber Bricks in this game beyond just discovering them. Now, the next shot is of the Cantina in Mos Eisley, perhaps the most infamous area in all of Mos Eisley. And there's a lot of cool stuff we noticed about this scene, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I kind of want to start off with something that I haven't brought up yet, but has been, killing me, is if you look in the top right corner, you can see the modal nodes. It is our favorite group of musical biffs in the galaxy, and it appears that there is a character unlock speech bubble that is hovering above one of the modal nodes' heads, and it appears to be a speech bubble to unlock a biff. Now, if I had to guess what this mission is for, it looks like they're pretty down and out right now. They don't look like they're playing music. They look pretty bummed out in the corner, and to be honest, the patrons aren't having a good time. They're beating the shit out of each other. So clearly there's something awry in the cantina at this moment. What I think this mission is going to be is you are going to approach the modal nodes. They are going to inform you that Figrin Dan, the leader of the modal nodes, has gone missing, and you have to scour the galaxy to find him. This also kind of runs parallel with my idea for a Max Rebo mission. Ask me later about that. Today we're talking about Tatooine. So another thing that we see in the cantina is Ponda Baba, who looks absolutely rattled by the fight that is going on around him. He looks very scared. Now, the next sequence of Mos Eisley that we see is this shot of the Dowager Queen. For those of you who don't know, the Dowager Queen was a ship which crash landed onto Tatooine long before the Galactic Civil War. This ship is infamously crashed at the intersection of Dune Street and Inner Curved Street. So that's exactly what we're seeing here, is C-3PO riding a Bantha, probably down Dune Street, is my guess. I don't know. Who knows? But this is clearly another shot of Mos Eisley, and I just want to point out one detail is there's clearly, little grips that you can use to climb up the side of a building. This kind of runs along my same point that there are going to be a lot of opportunities to explore this universe vertically as well as horizontally, which is just very cool. One more thing that we see in this Dowager Queen excerpt of this trailer is we actually see some music notes just above on a platform. I have no idea what this is going to be, but I would love if there were little mini challenges that maybe, timed up or correlated to some good old segments from John Williams's infamous scores throughout the Skywalker Saga. I would love if they kind of paid homage to John Williams in a way by including these musical mini-games. Who knows, maybe you climb up to the top and you have to get from point A to point B before one, tune plays or something. I don't know what it is, but who knows? I'm very excited to find out.
Now, the last shot we get of Mos Eisley is actually, we get to see Ben Kenobi using those Jedi abilities to make the Bantha dance and distract the stormtroopers. Now, the one thing I'm wondering is that by making the Bantha dance and thus distracting the stormtroopers, is this going to be a mechanic to sneak by the stormtroopers so that Obi-Wan can get into the hangar behind them? So I wonder if that's like what this ability is getting at, is you can get people to be distracted or do certain things, or just kind of move them out of the way so that you can access areas. For me, I think that's what this is what is happening here. I think he's just trying to distract the stormtrooper so that he can get right on past him.
Now that we've made our way through the wretched hive of scum and villainy, Mos Eisley, we are going to take a trip up to the northern city of Tatooine. That's right, Mos Espa. Now, we actually don't have too much information about Mos Espa from the trailers. All we really see is the Mos Espa Grand Arena, which is the host of the Boonta Eve, and we know that we are going to be able to do the Boonta Eve circuit, which they show at least travels through Mushroom Mesa, which leads into Beggar's Canyon. Other than that, we just know that we have Watto's junk shop, and we haven't really seen anything of Mos Espa other than that, so just great things to look forward to in this game. There's a whole city that we haven't even seen. And other than that, we kind of have some, random locations throughout the films that I'm not sure if we're going to be able to go in and walk around, but we at least know that there is a cutscene from Ben Kenobi's home. I hope we're able to go explore Ben Kenobi's home. If you guys didn't know, that is in the Jundland Wastes. There is one area kind of south of Mos Eisley by Anchorhead that we do know is going to be in this game, and that is the Lars Homestead. Right, Nick?
Yep, we see both shots from A New Hope in a cutscene and from The Rise of Skywalker. It is clearly Lars Homestead. We don't see any gameplay, so we're not sure if you're going to be able to run around there, but we will at least visit it via cutscene.
Now that we have gone through all of the footage from across Tatooine, there's really just one more location which we learned about from this here screenshot. Now, we really do think that this screenshot is of Tosche Station. You can see the squared building with kind of the curved arches on the roof. This kind of confirms to us that this is Tosche Station. We have good reason to believe that they would put Tosche Station in the game. It's right next to Lars Homestead, right by Anchorhead, as you guys know from episode 4, and it's just a great location to put into Tatooine. Now, that was a lot to get through. As you guys know, there's just so much to do around Tatooine, so many places to see. I would love to hear in the comments down below which of these locations you all are most excited to go explore as soon as we get our hands on this game on April 5th. I don't know about you, Nick, but I want to go straight to the Great Pit of Carkoon, primarily to see if Max Rebo's there after the Sail Barge crashes. That's just a great mystery of life that I want to solve, so I'm going to go straight there. Where are you going to go first, Nick?
You know, I honestly haven't really thought about it. Maybe Mos Eisley, or, you know, honestly, probably Mos Espa, just to see what that's like, since, again, Lucasfilm can't really agree on what it looks like, so I'm interested to see TT's take on it.
Mos Espa is a great pick. I mean, we haven't seen any of it yet, so let us know in the comments down below which of these locations you will all go to first as you traverse the wide dunes of Tatooine. Also, let us know in the comments down below a Q&A question to enter for a chance to win a brand new LEGO Star Wars LEGO set, which we will be giving away at our Q&A giveaway. Just leave a Q&A question down below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for a chance to win. Thank you all so much for watching our tour of Tatooine. We can't wait to see you on the next one. We will see you all next time.